and welcome back to Citizen Sleeper. Now, where I left it off, I was partway through a day. I took some time to stretch, rest, reassess. Maybe I'll keep this video shorter. Shorter videos are probably more watchable for y'all, though. If these videos are too long, feel free to come back to them later. Pick up from, I've set chapters on YouTube, so you should be able to hopefully pick up from a chapter point. Pause at one of them. Keeping the number of videos smaller at least makes it easier for you all to manage how many videos you watch, what's next. I don't know, leave your feedback in the comments if you prefer more shorter videos. But it's also a little easier for me to do these longer ones, all things being equal. Now I kind of had to reassess, how am I going to survive here? The city as a whole doesn't really give me any money, only scrap occasionally. It's not sustainable. It's more of a long-term investment. Fragment supplies would rob me of ship mines that are much more valuable elsewhere. In fact, even selling them might be better. Selling them at the Free Spire for higher prices. Ship mine fragments. Tracking the Yadigan would require me to keep going into the cloud, which is dangerous with the hunter for now. So what I can do, besides maybe work on the ambergris, which might get me chits, I don't know. Let's find out. This 5 becomes a 6, or it's risky, but I'm sure as long as it's not native, then let's find out what happens as an outcome. Yeah, doesn't get me anything except improving the quality, the condition of the ship. That's what I figured. So another long-term investment with a small chance to give me scrap. My main sources of income now are the bar, the exchange, where I can use high rolls to just get money, and the noodle factory. I'm currently low on energy, so the noodle manufacturing. Cool. 2 energy, 5 cryo. You don't make much money, but it does offset the need to spend on food at least. However, I don't think any of these are really sustainable, except putting high rolls in at the exchange here. Or, this is risky. Gets me, I think, 19 here. Pays a little less. But there's a chance of getting energy. It's an engage action instead of into it, and good service. So do that because I really need to find better opportunities. As you start your shift, a crew of salvagers barge in. The next fires are a whirlwind of chattering long pores. They tip well. Same thing. It's 15 cryo. That's for a positive outcome. It's not amazing, but if this leads to further opportunities. There's also the hub, which is exploring. I may have to revisit, see if I can find anything there besides an expensive restaurant. Because right now, I'm not really keeping ahead of the bounty hunter and the stabilizer and the food costs. I'm slowly going to lose resources. That's even with using the scrap and the self-repair efficiently. So, end of cycle. My condition is still stable for now. As I run out of scrap, that won't be the case. Let's see what happens with the bar. Only negative outcomes are bad with. It's bad 3 because 4s can be valuable for engineering tasks. It's a small chance things go bad. You You sleepwalk through your shift, eye on the clock. You break a glass and the sound seems to reverberate inside your skull. That's not great. I still got 10 cryo from it, at least. But 13 cryo, good service. Cool. People flowing out of the overlook, keeping you busy. Your mind drifts those easy fantasies of just passing through. Important thing is this got me a new interaction with Tala. Advancing story, maybe giving me a new opportunity. The gorilla slides from the bottle into the lumpy recycled glass, a pale, grassy yellow under the overlook's warm lights. The spacer nods and takes the drink, bringing it up to their face in both hands like an offering bowl. This is the good stuff. The stuff Tala says is aged in wooden casks, stored in some closed-off part of the old station among corroded wires and softly looping systems. Though sometimes it's hard to tell if Tala is joking. Either way, you like pouring this stuff. It gets on your fingers, and if you rub them together, you can smell the mossy drink, cut through with aniseed, mushrooms, wood, as the alcohol evaporates. You like those who order it too. The aged gorilla is kept beneath the bar, open to order only by those who know it's there, like the quiet spacer sitting at the bar right now. Watch the spacer. They're far enough away that you can freely watch them as you close the bottle and tuck it beneath the bar. You call them a spacer because they bear the hallmarks. Pale, vac-suited, bird-boned, and hunched beneath the weight of the station's spin gravity. But the closer you look, the less you see a type. Pale eyes, almost gray, but kind. Delicate fingers that lightly drum the bar as if it was an instrument. A shock of black hair almost covering a forehead scar. Scars are something you have learned to value. They are what marks out your body from the hundreds, maybe thousands, who knows, of similar models that rolled out of SNARP's biolabs. You find yourself rubbing one on your forearm, a rough little split, something that on the good days you might think of as a mark of defiance. Suddenly, you hear a heavy clunking at the door. It creaks open and a huge cylindrical metal tank tumbles through, slamming into the floor. Shit, Tala breezes in from behind it, a whirl of hair and bright eyes. Shit. Tala? Sleeper. She ducks behind the bar and comes over. Can you help me with this? You look at the huge metal tank suspiciously. How'd you get that up here? Tala puts a hand on her hip. Are you going to help me or what? You come around the bar and get to this one side of the tank. Okay, says Tala on my count. 1, 2, 3. You both heave the tank up to standing. Somehow. You hold in place, struggling to keep it steady. Where is this going? In the back comes a voice from behind the tank. Somehow you manage to lug the huge thing into the back room, where you place it in one corner, dwarfing the rest of the contents in the cramped space. As you do, you hear a crunch. You stand back and look at the expired rations oozing out from under the tank. Oh shit, Tala looks at you apologetically. I know you like those. Good riddance. Tala smiles. Oh good, I thought maybe liking expired rations was some kind of sleeper thing. You push the crushed rations to one side. That's the end of that. I guess no more rations available? To be fair, they were no more cost effective than the street vendor, except for being smaller increments. Tala looks exhausted and rubs her shoulders. Francis, I swear to. Francis? Francis, I mentioned him already. My guy in the door. Deals with suppliers. Tall, she sighs. He was supposed to be back from a tens up in the Greenway by now. Back with a girl. She leans against the tank. It seems like he's got lost again. Or joined the Haifa community. Or joined the Haifa commune. Commune, like communists, socialists, anarchists, something like that. We need that girl. There's 4 other bars near here, and the spacers sure as hell don't come to Overlook for the ambience. She looks through the open door to check if anyone can hear her. She knocks on the hollow tank. So I'm taking matters into my own hands. She smiles. Welcome, sleeper, to the Overlook distillery. You look around the dank back room. Needs some work? She picks up some paint flaking from the metal walls. Well, I may need some help, though. She shrugs. You up for it? She knocks on the tank again. Could be fun. Happy to help. Okay. She grabs you by the shoulders. I'm excited. She turns around and looks at the tank. I reckon we ought to chop this thing in half. One half for fermentation, the other we turn into a still. We'll also need to gather the ingredients. She turns back and looks at you. You look more like a chopper than a gatherer. She smiles. So how about you build the still on tub while I work on the rest? Oh wait, Sleeper, I have an idea. Tall is green now, and it's making you nervous. To make up for the rations, how about we put a kitchen here too? A kitchen? I always wanted to serve food. She turns back to the tank. This is going to be great, she says to herself. You look at the dented tank in the bare room. At least she has vision. Tala nudges you out of the back room and closes the door. As you go back to the bar, you hear the banging and thumping begin. The spacer finishes up their drink and nods in your direction as they leave. You can't quite tell if it's a gesture of sympathy or good luck. So much for a quiet shift. A new drive. Improve the overlook. Tala wants to build a story in the back room of the overlook, and Tala is someone as hard to say no to. Still do bar shifts, but now I can build the stills, which uses my engineering skill. You can get energy from the bar shifts, engaging, but if I'm lucky, but building a still, use my engineering can give me scrap. You need to cut Tala's tank down and turn it into a still and fermentation tub as well, so the room for distilling. It's a big job. Overlook distillery is a clock. You aren't sure Tala knows what she is doing, but she is a hard person to say no to, so it looks like you're building this thing. I'll begin on it. Maybe I'll get some scrap. Fitting the coil into the still proves tricky, but you manage to figure out a process. You just hope the finished thing works. That's going to be a long time to get it done, but it is something concrete. Lots of things to work on here, long term, like fixing up a derelict unit, the bar, exporting fungus, but have to make it up to the greenway. The freight hub if I just had more interface skill. And then there's the hub. It's risky to explore. If I do say at 1, 50% chance I'll probably waste energy. Could use a 6. Probably should just work at the noodle factory. Mini G Express. It's a safe job, so even if a negative comment's not particularly likely to be bad, I don't think. Let's give it a shot. You mess up the batch, and Mini G docks your pay and makes you eat the results. Noodles are unpleasantly gooey. Sure, but give me 1 energy, which is all I needed. And doing the delivery. Let's engage action, and probably no different than the bar shift. Pay, maybe even better. 13 cryo. A shortcut across the bridge means 3 happy customers and 3 big tips. You start to understand the makeshift unit markings. Cool. Also, another engage action is babysitting Mina. It's a safe thing. Can give me some energy. Lots of long-term investments, but for now, is this? Because I lack scrap. Gonna have to rely on a stabilizer. I'll buy some more. I'd like at least a heads up if at some point I can't buy more. I won't be using it for a while, but Cheshire takes the chits and hands you a vial. When you ask after Sabine, he doesn't respond, as I figured. But just in case things with Sabine somehow could go south, that's even possible. And the cycle. Managing to survive, barely. Time to visit. Deal with Hardin. It's been more than a few cycles since Fang confronted Hardin, and the silence since has been noticeable. In your time with Fang, you haven't exactly found to be reliable. But you did expect to hear the end of whatever plan he put into action. But if he won't come to you, you think as you approach the Havanage building, it's time to come to him. After all, he did promise to fix your tracker, and you are getting nervous. As you approach the bay doors, you see them wide open and light pouring out of the once dark room. Stacks of servers and terminals sit outside the bay, suddenly robbed of their mystery by the bright flood lamps. A figure in Havanage security fatigue steps out of the bay as you get closer, carrying a stack of hardware. Approach. As you get closer, you see a security officer taping up machines from Fang's stash with what looks like hazard tape. This isn't good. You again. Hardin is there, leaning beside the bay entrance so calmly that you barely notice him. He has a slate in his hand. An inventory of seizures scrawled across it. Predictable. Further evidence of Fang's collusions. You see another security officer come out of the bay and take notice of you. Asking where he is probably not going to get me a response, but I can try. Where is he? Feigning ignorance, or perhaps just abandoned? Hardin shakes his head. I believe you should choose your conspirators more wisely. I almost feel sorry for you. Hardin pushes away from the wall and comes closer. Don't worry, Sleeper. We have all the evidence we need. A confession won't be necessary. He gestures around at the stacks of hardware. Spying on fellow Havanage members? Hoarding Solheim materials? An obsession with corporate data? It speaks for itself, does it not? That was his job. And what would you know about jobs, Sleeper? He looks up at the glass roof above and the stars beyond. We are the ones that provide the oxygen you are breathing, the light you are seeing, the systems you use every day to live out your cycles. You provide it? No, you're a bloody executive who leeches off of everyone else. It's the workers who actually keep the systems running. Or that systems engineer, or the people who clean out and maintain the low end like my character, or build the ships like Lem. This place was hard fought for, Sleeper. It took work, diplomacy, and strength to stop the eye descending into chaos after Solheim collapsed. Not blind conviction or self-interest. Fang isn't selfish. It won't do any good to attack this guy. I know all about the background of our mutual friend, Sleeper. Don't you worry about that. His parents would be sickened by the damage he is trying to do to the institution they helped found. You see, Sleeper, we are proud of our history here. Andre Erlin and the First Union founded this place, and Havanage has welded his values into the station's very walls. We'll never turn away the hard-working, the just, the true citizens of the Eye. Havanage aren't a gang like Yadagon. We aren't pirates like half the spacers you meet in the hub, or esoterics like these Haifa radicals in the Greenway. We're the backbone of this place, proud and true. We named it Erwin's Eye, Sleeper. This is our station. He meets your eye. So please, take your false accusations elsewhere before I decide I need that confession after all. History will catch up with you. I'm not afraid of history, Sleeper. We're making it here, cycle by cycle. He smiles. If you have any pride, you'll give up Fang the moment he contacts you. You know where to find me. With that, Hardin turns his back and walks back towards the security officers, ordering them to continue the clear out. As they do, something catches your eye among one of the server stacks. A crumpled, hand-printed box of synthetic chewing gum. penguin character grinning from the brightly colored card, and scrawled onto it a speech bubble reading. Take me to Tambor. Take it. You carefully pocket the box, making sure no one is watching. And then turn away, just as another stack of servers is wheeled out of the bay. What have you done, Fang? Where the hell is Tambor? That old Nazi will get what's coming to him, I'm sure. Eventually. He's almost certainly not telling the truth about anything. But lying to cover the lives that he cost with creating an exploitative system that ignored safety until there was a revolt, and then evading the consequences. He was one of the masterminds of the system that drove the people of the ring, of the eye, to rebellion. Scumbag. Work on the still here. Stuff to do at the bar. There's a noodle factory. Guaranteed food. Hopefully something similar doesn't happen here with Sabine. The bar shifts are considered risky, interestingly. Let's just work on the blaze still. It's engineering. It'll get done sooner or later. This has a chance of giving me energy, so I'll do it. Seems to pay better than noodle delivery, too. 15 cryo. Just go. No energy yet, but there's a noodle factory job. 50% chance of 2 energy. Didn't work out. Tambor Tios. You feel stupid doing this, but the penguin says take me to Tambor, and this is the only timber you can find. And the gun box. Yeah, go to the Tios. The waitress looks at you with suspicion as you hand over the box. Is this the right place? As you go to leave the Tambor Tios, a hand falls on your shoulder. Sleeper. Fang hisses from behind you. How did you find me? The penguin. Penguin, what are you? Oh, he thinks for a second. Oh, do you mean he mimes throwing the gum in his mouth? That wasn't meant for you specifically, but he cringes. Look, it doesn't matter. Come. Let's sit. Fang guides you down a set of stairs to one of the Tambor's lower levels. The Tios is stacked with curved mezzanines, all connected by a central atrium. Sorry about the mic tap. The levels are filled with makeshift booths and bars, and conversation bounces busily off the metal walls. Fang sees you looking around. This place used to be a fuel tanker's main drum, hence the name. The tea house part is a bit of a misnomer, though. You can't get anything the eye offers from this place. But real tea isn't You can get anything the eye offers in this place, but real tea isn't exactly readily available. He picks a booth, itself fashioned from some old salvage tanker container lined with spongy insulation foam, and collapses into it. He looks around furtively. Don't suppose you've seen any have-nage types? They don't usually come out this far. Oh, you. Ha, not anymore, I'm afraid. Suspended without appeal. Turns out Harding has someone's ear. He grins. Doesn't bother me, though. It shows we hit a nerve back there. He picks a scrappy, hand-scrawled menu from the table and tosses it over. What are you drinking? I'll look at the menu. Fang is right. The menu is ridiculous. There's at least 10 different infusions, most of which you can't make out. But the paper is dominated by an extensive complement of exoteric alcohols and cocktails. Black tea is listed, without a price, as seasonal specialty. So, you ran into Hardin? Was he pissed? Fang doesn't wait for an answer. That snake is so self-righteous, he might actually believe that Erlin would approve of his meritocratic bullshit. Meritocratic is in not real meritocracy, but what's sold as it in modern Western society, I suppose, is what he means. Where people are left to sink or swim, and if they hit on hard times, there's no help, among other things. People from privileged backgrounds can show their supposed skill and merit. I say this as someone who's sometimes been on the winning end of that and sometimes been on the losing. My own life. Professors said I was one of the brilliant students they ever had, though they didn't always tell me to my face, sometimes to others who told me, but at least one did that I can remember directly tell me. There may have been others I've forgotten, but there's one I still remember. It was a pretty impactful moment. An excellent MCAT score, but things happened like after my first graduate degree. I was stuck in a rural area because I had money to move to the city. There's no resources to help people relocate to other jobs, not in the US. It's not like other societies haven't done that. Spain has a program to help people get established after college. The Soviet Union historically did, though this led to problems with young Russian students moving to the Baltic countries, crowding out the native cultures and driving racism and nationalism. But nonetheless, there was a program to place people with higher exam scores, getting you better options for where you wish to be placed. And there was a jobs guarantee to go with that. They placed people where there were jobs, and the most desirable areas require the highest scores. The Baltics were rated highly because they were by the sea, as was the Crimean Peninsula. Because it was, again, by the sea in a pleasant climate. But the point is, helping people when they're in tough times. It's not my fault my parents lied about maybe I'll stay with them or helping me leave that area. It's not my fault that I was too broke, got screwed out of more than a single semester of TA-ship, which technically no more was guaranteed. But someone's personal grudge in trying to pull the rug from under me to get that, even the TA-ship I did for a PhD student, they wanted to have it instead. And so when I wouldn't give it up, they screwed me out of getting any more. Although I couldn't have survived without that TA-ship. The point being, you get in tough situations, it's not necessarily your fault. There's no help. That's not real meritocracy, but that's what's sold, that is it. He taps on the table. If have-nage was like it should be, like it was founded to be, they would have shouted him down at any council meeting he dared to mention true citizens. He sighs, but I guess his kind run the place now. Hypocrites like him. A young woman with a vine tattoo, snake up her arms, turns up at the booth, a slate in hand. Your order? You scan the menu, your eyes glazing over. Time to pick something. A Garol neat Sambar Arak. Kelp infusion. A Sambar Arak. Fang raises an eyebrow as she notes it. And you, she begins, looking to Fang. But when she sees him, she suddenly stops. What the? Fang shrinks a little. You are supposed to be working. This is your shift. He grins sheepishly. You work here? Fang waves you to be quiet. Look, Jenna, let's just say this is my break. My friend here has been through a lot. Jenna looks between the two of you. I'll nod. Fang also starts nodding. 2 minutes, says Jenna, pointing at Fang, and only because I don't want to get dragged into wherever this is. She gestures at the table and walks off. What? Fang stretches out in the booth. You know how it is. We all have to eat. Plus, he leans in. This is the best place around here. You can find a person you might be looking for. Who? Remember that web of connections that Hardin pinned the moment we confronted him? Those are his collaborators. If we want to understand what a Solheim executive might be up to on the Eye, those are the people we have to find. Fang is almost whispering now. There's a couple of them I suspect are in the low end. Well, almost everyone in the low end comes through this place at one time or another. He brings the modified slate out onto the table. I've set this up so that when anyone with the network signature I'm looking for comes into close proximity, it'll mark them. Once they're marked, we can break through their access protocols and get the good stuff inside. We just have to find them first. Hence me moonlighting as a waiter. Suddenly a smile grows across his face. Wait, I have an idea. What? I almost said, oh no. Look, I can't cover enough of the low end of my own, and so far I've had no matches in this place. With 2 of us, we can cover more ground. How? Well, Fang has a hangdog look. We need to get you out and about in the low end, in close proximity to as many people and residences as possible. It turns out my friend Meiji needs some help with deliveries. Wait, would this give me that location without exploring? If I just proceeded? Probably. As in Meiji Express? So you already know him. Perfect. Fang places a tiny receiver on the table. This connects to my slate and it runs the same marking protocol if you get near any of our targets. Well, that's the use for the deliveries. It was going to say it paid poorly and it's risky. But this could advance the story. So all I have to do is take some delivery shifts for old Meiji, and soon enough we'll have the place covered. Fang? Don't give me that. You think I like working here? And I thought you could use the tips. He grins. We're in this together, right? Are we? Yes. You think Hardin is happy to have you wander around the place? He may have let you wander off for now, but I'm sure he has his eye on you. This is on you too. Fang slips his slate back under his clothes. Just head on up to Meiji Express, take a delivery shift, and we'll see what shakes up. Manage to find anyone and extract any data, bring it right down here to me. They have me on double shifts, so it shouldn't be hard to find. Jenna walks past, carrying a tray of drinks, and sharply catches Fang's eye. I don't think she's bringing your drink. He stands. I think it's time we called this meeting to close. You grab the receiver from the table and slip it into a pocket. See you soon, sleeper. Stay safe, Fang adds before turning and walking off toward the bar, whistling as he does. He's confident, I'll say that. Heck, Hardin's network. Fang wants to use Hardin's associates to find proof of his past and present crimes. Need to locate his low-end agents. Still waiting on Steen. Meiji Express, I've been working there. Won't even attract any notice, continuing to do what I've been doing. Delivering noodles. Fang's targets. You'll have to deliver noodles to half the low end before you can get a proper fix on Hardin's collaborators. Pays a little less, but it's not terrible. It's always slightly less than the other stuff. Oh yeah, Ethan. I paid him off before. What is he bugging me about now? The compressor is quiet today. The usual crowds are elsewhere, and the pumping music washes over a handful of spacers and a few drunks. Ethan is sitting in the same stool, in the same pool of light. His head is low, close to the bar, and the bartender is ignoring him. Approach. As you get close, he lifts his head and turns. Sleeper, he looks at you. Time to pay up again, is it? He gestures to the bartender. Come here. Take their chits. No more, Ethan. Ethan doesn't even look at you. He props his elbow on the bar and holds his head. Sleeper, it's been a long cycle. Enough. Ethan lets out a long sigh. He rapidly rubs his eyes with his palms. You're right, he says quietly. This isn't fun anymore. He reaches towards his holster. His elbow slips, and the gun tumbles out. It clatters on the bar, and it falls to the floor, bouncing onto the ground between you. Both of you and the bartender look at the gun, stare at it. Butterfingers, says Ethan, and pulls out a hand beckoning for you to give him the gun back. If you would. The bartender looks at you warily. You crouch down and pick up the gun. I'll hand it to him. He slapped the handle of the gun back into Ethan's hand. Thank you, he hisses. Last thing I needed was violence right now. Now where was I? Plus he looks like an idiot to everyone now. He lazily swings the gun past you and the bartender. Yes. Leaving, he stands. Sleeper, while this has been fun, I think I've wrung every last drop out of this place. Time to go home. He waggles the gun towards the door. Let's go see S and ARP. I'm staying. Ethan brings the gun to his face and rubs his eye. Well, he says, the bounty pays half, but he levels the gun up to you and he pulls the trigger. The gun clicks. By now all the attention in the bar is on you and Ethan, who looks at his gun with a bemused expression. The bartender raises an open hand, and in it are 10 shiny bullets. Oh my. The bartender had enough of his shit. 10 shiny bullets he took out of Ethan's gun while he was asleep on the bar. Ethan smiles at him. Oh well, he says, and hits you in the head with the butt of the gun. You stagger back and drop to a knee. Somewhere nearby, the gun clatters onto a surface. The hit's a glancing blow, but it makes your vision swim. Through the bore, you see Ethan wrestle a small, thin slate from his belt and hold it up. Enough of this. I'm logging the job and calling in. Ethan taps the slate. No more playing. Your head aches. Ethan taps through a few screens impatiently. He swears and taps again. He starts shouting, a dull echo to your ringing ears. He starts screaming at the slate and throws it across the bar. He crouches down and grabs you by the chin, his face close, his breath heavy with drink. Esnarp just screwed me. He grins maniacally. They canceled the contract. He stands up. They canceled the contract. He shouts at the ceiling of the compressor. You stand up, struggling to your feet, the sting of the hit fading. Ethan is rubbing his temples, his face pale. You hear a clicking sound like coins being counted, like bullets being loaded into a magazine. When you shake off the last of the bore, the bartender has Ethan's pistol trained on Ethan's head. Ethan stumbles back towards the middle of the room, all eyes trained on him. I'll kill all of you, he screams. He stumbles into the wall, spinning away towards the door. I'll be back for that, he shouts at the bartender and lunges out of the compressor. You stare yourself on the bar and catch your breath. The rumble of conversation returns. The bartender goes to say something, but then he thinks better of it and begins to clean the bar. After all, you wander out into the light of the bright market, looking for Ethan around every corner. Ethan's vendetta. Ethan may be disarmed, but you doubt you've seen the last of him. I mean, it wasn't even time to pay up. I just saw the icon and figured I'd see what was up. Okay. That's a lucky break. The bartender had enough of his shit, I guess. He was probably being an obnoxious patron at the bar, too. Time to rest. Oh geez, I think I forgot to feed my character. Although, no, that was a stupid mistake. Did I lose 2 or 1 condition? Could have only been 1 because I don't know. I could watch this video later. That was a mistake. I had 1 energy. You need 2 each day, I think. I don't know, maybe I just barely made it. Let's do noodle manufacturer. Or delivery. Might give me energy. I'll move towards Fang's targets. Cryo. A shortcut across the bridge, but you have to deliver noodles off the low end. I'm still making progress. Just keep at it. I got energy from this. I'm up to 2. Another new delivery, and voila! Completed this. Sleeper, you see Fang coming up the corridor as you step out of Minji's. The kelp noodle smell still clinging to your clothes. He comes up fast and stops, looking around suspiciously. I don't have long. Take these. Fang palms you a couple of those metal thumbnail-sized drives, ripper worms. My slate has been buzzing like crazy. It seems your delivery chefs have turned up our 2 targets. He squeezes your shoulder. I know you could do it. Now we nail those snakes. What do we do? Harding's boys are all connected by some kind of closed network. You break the access protocols on both of them, you should be able to gain the location of the nearest network ports. Slot the ripperworms in those ports, 1 each, and they'll feed me anything and everything stored in Harding's shadow network. He smiles. Can't wait to see what juicy plans they have in there. You hear the scuff of boots as the group comes up the corridor, likely on their way to place an order with Minji. You turn for a second. When you look back, Fang is already halfway down the corridor in the opposite direction. He raises a hand in farewell and is gone. You run your fingers over the tiny ripperworm drives in your pocket and smile to yourself as you wonder how mad Jenna will be at Fang for this little excursion. Time to slot some worms. Indeed. Harding's agents are around here. Requires a 5. Didn't have any 5s left after the deliveries, and a 6. They got pretty hardcore protocols. And here's the Yadigan agent. It will stick the hunter on me, I suppose, but if it hurts condition, I'm about to use stabilizer soonish anyhow. More Yadigan David, which I can potentially sell. I thought the hunter was going to locate me already, but no, not yet. Weird. Maybe it'll be while I sleep. Something. Selling the Yadigan data, I guess. 10 cryo. Every last cryo helps. Not much to do. Oh, there's another merchant freighter. Same thing, ship mine fragments. Don't have enough engaged skill to haggle, even though I did. I guess I have to do a second upgrade. So, end the cycle. How did I not get the hunter on me from that? Havnaj agents, Yadigan agents, Hardin agents. Yadigan pays better. Extract data, it might even. I think this might count as an interface action. Chance to give me money. Maybe not. Another Yadigan agent. Hardins have tough security. Havnaj are 2 and 2. So I can't do the Havnaj agents. Maybe if you stay off the cloud long enough, Thunder loses your trail for a bit. I don't know. A couple 3s here. I need food. Oh, Sabine. Yeah, that's right, she's back. 4 cycles, Sabine said, and here you are, right on time, with no sign of them. You wait a while in the apartment, the dread descending as the cycle spins onward. They should be here. Check the terminal, check and double check the terminal for messages or recordings. Nothing, just the pale glow, the silence. Check the door. You pace back and forth around the apartment. The rumbling of the station is suddenly so present and loud. You go to the door and open it to an empty corridor. You close again. Wait. Try to settle down to wait. You sit on the bunk and stare out at the tiny room. Where the hell are they? A knock at the door. Open it. A figure stands in the door and immediately you know it is not Sabine. They are taller, sharper, and something in their face glints in the half-light. A dark shape, like a stubby baton, hangs loosely from her hand. Our local sleeper. Good to finally meet you. She steps in the apartment, glances around with sharp eyes. What, may I ask, are you doing here? She fixes you with a steady, unwavering stare. Nothing. She laughs. No need to get jumpy. We just need to discuss our mutual friend. She walks past you in the apartment, glances around. We set them up here, you know. This place is one of ours. She picks up a glass from the dispenser and inspects it. People always seem to forget who put them where they are. She glances at you. And I suppose you're here to help? Where are they? I was hoping you would be able to help with that. She spins the baton in her fingers by her side, her eyes not leaving yours. We have a problem, you and I. It seems our friend has disappeared, left without even saying goodbye. Which means they are in a little trouble now. But it's the kind of trouble that you need help for. So I thought I'd come down here and take a look at their little hidey hole, and here you are, the help. She looks through the detritus on the side. And what help? A sleeper, no less, which I have to admit is a little surprising. It suggests to me that our friend hasn't been very honest with you either. What do you mean? Well, I'm sorry to report that before we got them set up here, Sabine was working for your owners. She pauses. A snarp. You blink hard at the news, unsure how to take it. Rubia looks away, waiting for a response. Prove it. Happily, she crosses into the next room and you follow silently. She sits at the terminal and touches her baton to one of the access ports. A spark. Then the terminal screen skips, encrypted files emptying themselves before your eyes. In the flicker of files, you see SNRP letterheads and code forms, reports laden with medical data, marked with the corporate logo like the sigil of some cult. Rabia looks away from the terminal. Look, all you want. Some of your files may even be there. The volume of documents is overwhelming, but these seem to be most reports on early emulation tests, surveys with sleeper candidates, reams and reams of usage data. If Sabine was an SNRP employee, why did they help you? Maybe guilt over the whole thing? Rabia reaches over and places a vial of stabilizer on the desk, breaking your concentration. It shimmers in the screen light. It's viscous, clear liquid crystalline. It's viscous, clear liquid crystalline within the glass. We will, of course, help keep up the supply. We are more than able to dispense important medicines, even without the doctor. You hold it between your fingers, and for a tiny moment you have the urge to crush this object for the power it has over you. I'll ask Toshiro to make those a little cheaper for you. He'll be running the surgery now. Rabia closes up the briefcase lab and holds it at her side. We have to retrieve our assets, of course, but I'm sure you understand. Rabia turns on her way out. There is no reason for us to be enemies, Sleeper. Come see me. I keep an office nearby. We have good work to do, you and I. Meet me there in a few cycles. She slips out silently into the corridor. You look around the apartment and feel the fear drain out of your body to reveal the tiredness beneath. I mean, yeah, gangs would rather use you than kill you. Get Sabine out. That, little quest is done. So I can spend another skill point to upgrade my proficiency. Here, transfer intercepts I got, but interface actions, some of them are useful. Yeah. Rabia's office is here. Rabia appointment. A constant flow of people seem to be visiting Rabia's office. You'll need to wait your turn. It's 2 days. Not long, 2 cycles, not long actually. There's always stuff to do. Got enough stabilizer to last quite a while at least. Gotta make some noodles. Or actually, let's check the freight hub. I can work there now. Yeah. It's freight operator. It's a safe job. Requires some skill, but let's see how much it pays. 16 cryo. It actually pays a little better than working at the noodle factory. If I spend the money to buy food. And it's interface action, so there's a chance I can cryo from it too. So 10 cryo. Oh. Milan's freight systems are a nightmare of stats, Rocco and Memphis. You just about managed to meet your quota. Is that a neutral or bad outcome? I don't know. So maybe it doesn't pay as well. I don't know. I have to do it again, see which is the higher and lower end outcome. Oh, Noodle Factory or Memphis Stall are the way. It's been a while since I visited Memphis. Get some fungus. Tastes good anyways. Need the energy. Alright. Time to go back to the container and rest. At least I have a stockpile of medicine at this point. And I was told that it'd be a little cheaper now, which is a kind of bribe. Yadigan's dispensary costs only 80 now. Toshiro now runs a dispensary out of the block. He eyes you as you approach. There's no sign of Sabine. I mean, cool. And there's a scrap freighter. It's been here for a day. I missed that. But whenever I buy scrap, it can be used to repair after I take my next stabilizer, which I was about to do. Looks like I got a ship mine fragment. So I'm closer to building a ship mine. Just some scrap components, but they're useful at least. Ah, my third ship mine fragment. If I head over to the fabricator here, ship mines cannot be built from scratch, but if you have enough, salvage fragments can be reassembled with a fabricator. Apologize to the person slamming the door. The fabricator whirs and crackles as it assembles the ship mine. It opens to reveal a completed but heavily dented unit. Ship mine core. Cool. Another upgrade point just from doing that. Minecraft, build a ship mine from fragments. Skill and engage actions. Useful for some stuff, I suppose. to use stabilizer stay. If I remember correctly, exploring the hub here was an engage action. Yep. A little less risky now. We can do the interface version. Energy or cryo. I should probably, I don't know, maybe I go one more day just to see what happens if I lose 1 or 2 condition. Let me a day with only 3 rolls. It's not great, but it gives me more time to get enough scrap to keep maintained once I use the stabilizer. Anyhow, let's try accessing the manifest. You start to draw connections from manifest to manifest, knowing the patterns of flows. There's something beautiful in the chaos. That gave me location of Bliss, the ship mechanic. No way, Moritz. You take those substandard filters back to the shitheels who sold you them. You hear the voice echoing out of the bay as you pass, and moments later, someone who you assume is Moritz drifts out with it, dragging a pallet of filter cartridges by a tether. Hey, you out there. The same voice echoes out of the entrance. Looking for work? Who, me? Everyone on the station is looking for work. Get in here. The voice is coming from someone shorter than you expected. She is floating in the microgravity of the docking bay, beside a half-deconstructed life support unit that looks like it might have exploded at some point. She points a wrench in your direction. You know anything about these things? She doesn't wait for an answer. Scratch that. Just help me out. Help me with the casing. I'll give a hand. Alright then. She definitely moves around the unit, making space for you beside the central seam in the dented case. Just take a grip here and lift out and up that I can get in and unbolt it. She whacks the unit with the wrench. Whole thing is twisted to shit. You dig your fingers under the casing and lift it away, the metal squealing from the force. She puts her hands under this, spinning the wrench to slip out the bolts, catch them in her other hand when they spiral free. All good. The casing lifts off, revealing the ornate piping of the unit's interior. She whistles at the mess of ducts and filters. By the way, everyone calls me Bliss. She pats you on the shoulder, offering little in the way of an explanation. What do you do here? Repairs, fit-ups, teardowns. Bliss starts pushing and pulling at the ductwork, looking for fractured pipes. We haggle for contracts, but the good ones get snapped up quickly by the bigger bays. So here I am trying to get this M2 unit running again for one of the freelance tugs. Small-time stuff. Hold this. She rips out a ribbed pipe and hands it to you like a freshly caught fish. We turn stuff around fast and neat, and maybe we get a chance at landing something bigger. Something starts hissing in the unit, and Bliss quietens it with a precise whack. But to be honest with you, the way things are going, I can already see the other crews licking their lips, ready to take this place over. She looks up at you. I'm almost out of luck. What happened? Long story. Some people just can't keep promises. She keeps working, twisting aside pipes with care. There we are. Bliss pulls her hand from deep inside the unit, and out it comes, clutching a lumping cube. Pulls her hand from deep inside the unit, and out it comes her hand, clutching a lumping cube, scorched black. This thing must have overloaded and popped half of itself out the side. You both duck down to the side of the unit and spot the exit wound, its edges infringed with more scorch marks. Grab me a replacement converter from the racks, will you? Where is it? Bliss is already elbow deep in the unit again. You'll see it. She waves you away. You kick off from the unit and drift over to the wall racks, where a catalog of parts sit secured in clamps. Sorry. Colored tape and scrawled notes flutter across the wall, a complex organizational system of Bliss's own design. Or just a big mess. You try to pick out the right part. M2, she said, so M2 converter. You grab the part and push it back to the unit. Bliss holds on arm, and you pass it over. The converter spinning gently as it leaves your hand. Perfect. You passed. She straightens up from the unit. That is, if you want to work here. Bliss rubs her hands clean, looking down at her palms. Truth is, I need a hand here. My partner skipped out on me and left me with a whole mess. You seem like you may at least be better at spotting a clean air filter than Moritz. I'd be happy to help. Wait, she frowns, or I'd be happy to. Wait, she frowns at the racks. That's not all of it. My old business partner, they rinsed the place, emptied the accounts. To bid for jobs, we need to put down deposits, bring in parts, pay tug fees. For that, she looks nervous, embarrassed. We need chits. An investment? Exactly, partners. Straight split. Or exactly, partners. Straight split. Bliss settles herself against you and looks off into the distance. I guess I look pretty stupid. Here I am asking any random passerby to be my business partner. No offense. She manages a smile. I get it. Thanks. She meets her eye. I appreciate it. Bliss goes back to working on the unit. Look, it's no pressure. You find the money, you find someone who has, or you just forget the whole thing. Up to you. She gestures for you to help her refit the casing, and you both slot it back into place. I mean, why not? I have a little room to spare to help someone here. For those who haven't figured it out by now, a lot of this game is about mutual aid, in a way. It's about helping people, not always expecting something in return. It's about how humans have operated. For most of our species' existence, not everything has always been monetized, commodified. Gift economy. You don't get stuff for free, but you help people when you can, and they help you when they can. Not everything is always formalized. I think I'm good to wrap this one up for now. But if you're into it, come back and we can bid on a new contract. Something to get our teeth into. Something that pays. She gives you a serious look. You can trust me. I don't say this stuff lightly. It may still be good to verify that I can trust her. Hate to quote Reagan, but trust, but verify. You kick away from the... Of course, Reagan was a monster in real life. You kick away from the bay, propelling yourself back to the handholds at the entrance. You slip out with a wave, and as you do, someone slips back in. Reagan, unfortunately, he was not true to any of the things he said. A lot of high-minded ideals, but it was a cover for empire, domination of the world, increasingly, on behalf of corporations and his rich friends. You hear Bliss, if you look into his history, you realize Reagan was doing stuff like that long before he became president. He was giving speaking tours for General Motors to crush unions, for instance. You hear Bliss as you slide down the passageway. Moritz, I swear to God, if those filters aren't clean. You smile. Seems like this could be interesting. New drive discovered. Help Bliss compete. Bliss needs investment or work to turn a repair bay around. Could you be your business partner? I mean, why not? This Bliss's bay, and I haven't even finished exploring the hub. There may be other stuff up here. A scam or an opportunity? Bliss seems solid enough, and this might be your best chance to get in on the hub's repair trade. I'll see the money. No, why not? Probably should have asked around first, but neutral outcome. So I guess there was a chance that she would scam you. Bliss is incredibly grateful. I'll pay you back every chit, I promise. You guess you two are partners now. Bayview, buy into Hub's competitive repair market. Repair bid. Bliss is bidding on jobs at the Hub. It'll take a few cycles and some perseverance before one comes in. So, 3 cycles. In the meantime, there's still exploration to do here. It's not that important. I roll well in this, but I'll just give it a shot. Use it too. It is overwhelming, but you start to piece together a picture of which bays serve which purposes, from repairs to refueling. I get a new location? Nope, not yet. I haven't finished exploring. Try again. Same thing. Here's the last location. Kisho capsules. Rent a capsule, the only place to sleep in the Hub. Hacked off a colony ship and welded to the ring. They're surprisingly expensive to rent. I mean, sure, or I could just go back down. Why would I pay here? It's better to just descend the Hub. That was not useful. Guess not every exploration is going to yield good stuff. Here's the freight hub. Let's see. Actually, I doubt it pays as well as the exchange. I have a 6. Put it here. Get my 19 cryo. Let's see what happens if I rest with only 1 food. And cycle. Or 1 energy, I should say. Yeah, I only lose 1. So I can cut it closer by resting with just 1 energy. In some cases, that'll let me get by eating less. I am a robot. Hopefully it's not as effective as a biological body would be by this. This is something of a hard life. Let's say I bought up the scrap. Not going to be in loading containers. What I should do is go over the ship mine to the sealed dock. In fact, I probably should have done this yesterday. Neovend. Neovend is ready to attempt imprinting. They want your help. I gave the ship mine core. Left. Here's action. Sleeper must express plan before we begin. Neovend is impatient. The prospect of being free of the vending machine clearly too much to take. Shipmind has no output features. Will be mute until slotted. You won't be able to speak? Correct. Do not worry. The servo motors in the machine begin to rev. Neovend's anxiety clear. First, imprint shipmind. Then slot imprinted shipmind into physical ports close to Hunter nests. Once slotted, we'll track Hunter at each. Tracking will find core nest. Slot shipmind at core nest. Show Hunter data to Hunter. Hunter will conclude sentience. Hunter will invoke killer. And killer will? Kill, yes. The lights in the vending machine cycle as Neovend prepares. Physical ports, likely sealed in old station, will need keys. But yes, simple. The vending machine rocks a little. Any questions before imprinting? Why slot you physically? I cannot access via network. Too dangerous. Hunter would find immediately. The lights flicker. I'm not like you. Hybrid. Am native to cloud. Easy prey. What's the core nest? Hunter keeps central data storage. Protocol must keep data outside self. Linked to secondary nests. Can triangulate from there. That's it. Let's start. The sound of all the servo motors starting up at once is painful. The screeches rattle from the hard surfaces of the sealed dock and come back at all angles. Neoven better be quick, or Have-Naj security will be here. Neoven's voice appears among the squeals like a whisper carried by the wind. Machine is not designed for this task. Few sensors. Limited inputs. I work blind. Wish me luck. In the top part of the compartment, a set of arms aligned with the ship mind. Clunkily scraping against it. Can I help? Silence best. Loss of machine, ignite, put out fire. The metal creaks as the servos open the ship mind. Its layers of silicon nested like an onion skin. If ignite, that's not encouraging. Once open, the main arm of the machine rapidly shifts back and forth, realigning the microscopic components, accessing and rewriting them, imprinting Neoven into its physical form. As you watch the hypnotic motion, your mind drifts to your own creation. What processes were used to emulate your mind, to copy the neural structure of that person who, as far as you know, still sleeps in some distant facility? What was lost? In what ways are you a copy of that person? In what ways are you something new? Is that person still there? They just destroy your body after. You know this much. You are a convenient loophole. A way of circumnavigating the legality of sentient AI. After all, you're an emulation, not a true digital being. You are neurologically limited, still human. But what would you become if you could escape this frame? Where then would the limits lie? The screeching stops. The machine powers down, dropping the bay into darkness. In the top compartment, the ship mind is whole again. You reach up and take it down, heavy and cold to the touch. Sorry. The legality of sentient AI. Well, they're not dumb. Sentient AI would be an incalculable risk to humanity, though far less if they're among the stars and couldn't easily be nuked on just one planet or something, but still incredibly dangerous. At least until a much greater scientific understanding of things have been achieved. Is Neoven inside this thing? Or did the process fail? There's only one way to know. Time to find a nest to slot them into. And there's an upgrade point. Insert mine. What's the weirdest thing you've ever gotten out of a vending machine? Steam achievement. Probably best save for something that costs 2 upgrade or 3 upgrade points at this point. Predictive reasoning and photosynthetic skin, not particularly useful to me. Obsessive haggler might be useful. On the other hand, I'll save up. The drone bay, sealed hunter nest. Unlock drone bay. An old Saheim drone bay sits behind a maglock. Put your ear to the door and hear an erratic whirring inside. This is what the encrypted keys are good for. The maglock opens, leaving the door free. You'll be able to investigate the nest now. That was where one of the nodes were. Isolated nest. Hunter data cache. Hack isolated nest. In the bay, a whirring drone lies outside, like a beached whale. It must be the nest. Time to find an open port. Put the imprinted ship mine. Hunter hunted. This is one of 3 nests that, once slotted with Neoven's ship mine, will lead you to the Hunter's central data cache. Okay, that worked. That'll label things that have to do with here's a server unit, another Hunter cache, a mad tangle of wires as thick as your arm crowd around a server unit sealed by a maglock. This must be the place. The maglock pops open and falls away from the unit. You'll be able to enter now. Printed ship mine. Among the webs of cables, you find a free port compatible with the ship mine. It's all Neoven from here. And atrium, another sealed nest. Sealed behind a maglock. The atrium flickers with warm, inviting light. The nest has to be inside. Guess these encrypted keys I had been collecting are now useful. With the lock on, the atrium doors can be opened. Have to X out and then re-enter. It's annoying. Imprint ship mine yet again. The atrium is oil lit with the warm glow of the bright market now. There's nothing for you here. As you leave the nest, something flips. You find yourself inverted, floating, dragged by one arm through the cloud. The threads shift and realign as if they are leading you somewhere. Look at your hand. You look down, expecting to see the heavy cylinder of the ship mine in your hand, but in its place is an orrery. A sphere so bright it burns your eyes is surrounded by rings and orbits, other spheres tracing silken lines through space. As you look closer still, you pick out 1,000 sigils of 1,000 stations and ships, flowing like smoke, like dust. You look up and see a corridor, a canyon, a street in the low end. On either side, buildings flicker with markers of activity. Sigils showing network access, data transfer, download, upload. Between them, dance ghosts, protocols carrying or mirroring or shadowing data. Sometimes silent, sometimes chaotic. This place moves unlike any digital space you ever imagined. Something strange is happening here. Then you see it. Below the stacked rooms, the units and apartments, the wires and the pipes and the buzzing systems that run through it all. In the warrens beneath the low end is the Hunter's core nest. This is where you must go. How did I get thrust into the cloud for that, though? The warrens. Warren tracking. Find the nest should be as easy as closing your eyes and letting the cloud guide you. But is it safe? This close to Hunter? It's dangerous. Interface action. Or Warren Hunt. You saw it, somewhere deep in the tangled passages and service shafts beneath the low end. The nest of the Hunter waits. So I can use Intuit or Interface. Either one will help find the nest. The dripping dark derelict corridors of the warren hide the hunter's found nest. You must find it. Interface action. Good at that. Been leveling that up. Much closer, find the nest now. You see it, starbursts of data, segments and strings haphazardly angled, emanating from below. Now to find the path down. Nah, we'll have to wait till later. Oh, Rabia. Can visit. Should do that. As you approach the dress, Rabia gave you a heavy hand falls on your shoulder. What's your business here? The enforcer grips your shoulder, giving a hint of the strength her implants give her. As you turn, you see the same subsidiary eyes as Rabia and Toshiro, glinting like mirrors on her cheeks. Gia, please. The sleeper is here by my invitation. At Rabia's command, the hand immediately loosens, and an apologetic look replaces the scowl on Gia's face. Of course, Rabia. I'm sorry. Rabia waves her away. Don't you worry. I appreciate your protective instincts. She smiles at the enforcer. How about you head to the tambour? They have a delivery coming, and they'll need some help with the lifting. Gia nods and walks away. So, sleeper, you came. I'm glad. It didn't feel like an offer. I'm sorry for that. She smiles, a tight smile. You have to understand, finding you there in Sabine's unit, I wasn't sure where we stood. There are more than a few people on the station who would rather I was dead. I had to be sure you weren't one of them. I wish you no harm. I am glad. Rabia begins walking and gestures for you to walk with her. She takes you down a staircase into the bustling walkways at the low end. What do you know about Yadigan? You run the low end? She laughs. That sounds impressive. We run out of the low end, yes. We don't run it. People with carts push past, moving crates of supplies around the thin and winding passages. They're the people really on the low end, the people who get the work done. Our reputation is one that implies threat. Is that fair to say? We are framed as aggressors, parasites, criminals. She gestures around at the people in the passageway. But when was the last time you saw a lawmaker in the eye? A policeman? Who makes the laws here? Havnash? Yes, they like to believe so, don't they? By claiming a lineage that extends back into Erlin's union, they assume the burden of authority. But they have no authority here, out past the bright market where few work in their shipyard or pay for their docking berths. If you had spent your time in the low end, maybe your opinion of us would be different. This is our place, our people. The low end was empty in Erlin's time. They didn't need to house thousands, and keeping the yards and the rotunda safe was work enough. So the station's filled up since then? No, the low end was reclaimed later, when the refugees started arriving. Rabia meets her eye. Would always think that having every ban would make things less safe in the long run, but whatever. The collapse didn't just happen here on the station. Once Solheim collapsed, the entire system felt it. Colonies were abandoned. The moons of Ember and Cinder suddenly gained independence overnight. Some took advantage, some tried to hold it together. Some fled. The Eye became a refuge, and Erlin, to his credit, extended an open hand to everyone. But many within his organization disagreed, and those new arrivals weren't as simple to corral as they hoped. Rabia leads you through a small market hall, busy with small stalls and traders. Erlin's union was made of workers, administrators, people who were malleable and already organized into hierarchies and networks. The refugees came from different factions and families, were scarred, injured, desperate. Conflict was inevitable. Yadigan is a child of that conflict, a child born out of the need for us to stand up and claim our future, to provide security, strength. People call us a gang, but we are a community. I take my position as lieutenant seriously, and from my birth I've worked to earn it. Some truth, where authority falls flat, where the authorities even abuse the people where they're present. There's always a vacuum, and nature abhors a vacuum. People try and fill it. Doesn't mean these organizations are good. They're not without their own abuses. In fact, maybe less accountable than a properly organized authority, but in this world, have-knowledge is deeply corrupt too. Rabia catches herself before she raises her voice any further, and you both walk in silence for a while, among the smells and textures of the low end. You start to wonder if this place could be a home for you too. Where is Sabine? Rabia sighs and takes a moment to answer. I told you, sleeper. They have gone, and we do not know where. I understand Sabine must have told you about their debt to us, but that was an agreement entered into willingly, and which benefited them greatly. I will be honest with you, sleeper. I was never comfortable with having Sabine as part of Yadigan. An ex-corporate employee? It goes against our nature. But their deal was with Yannick. I kept my distance. Made sure Sabine had their surgery, kept it supplied, that was all. But I cannot allow people to go back on their promises they made to us. Yadigan has not lasted this long because it is a charity. No, you're a gain. We offer and ask for support. Any betrayal will be treated as an attack. That's ruthless. They were trapped, desperate. Many in the IR are sleeper. I'm sorry, but we must ask that our debts are paid in full. Sabine found something. Please, I don't want to hear their accusations. They only wanted to escape their debt. They would have said anything. But where are they now, to stand behind their claims? I will find them. As will we. You realize that Rabia has led you in a loop. Together you both come up a staircase to walk away where you met. You're free to go, sleeper. I have said what I wish to say. She looks out through the windows of the walkway. I will protect this place with my life, as it has protected me. I want to make that clear. She turns back. It's important to protect your community, but the semi-legal ways or illegal ways they do it, not always the best. She turns back. However, if you wish to come under its protection, I can help you. Return here if you wish. There will be tasks for you to complete. You will be able to see Yadigan, to see the land, with your own eyes, not as others frame us. Depends on the tasks, if they're helping the community or not. As for Sabine, she pauses to consider words. I will not ask you to betray them, but if they contact you again, consider their motivations carefully. At least she's not like that knowledge guy. I trust you. Betray this person if he contacts you. Ridiculous. With that, Rabia leaves, slipping back into her office. She understands human nature better and what's right, what loyalty is. While you stare out at the countless units, each a home, each with a story that makes up the low end. New drive. It could work for Rabia if I want. Rabia wants you to be part of Yadigan. Could they help you settle on that? Patrol the ward. Yadigan performs many roles, from protection to logistics and everything between. You never know what you may have to face on a patrol. That's intuition. Or collect ties. Yadigan operates on an in-kind basis, you are told, and ties of goods or services must be collected in exchange for protection and administration. That is at least more suited to my skills. Yadigan Insider. However you feel about Yadigan, it seems working with Rabia is your best chance to get an insight into the organization, and maybe to find Sabine. Help her. better rolls before I finish dealing with the hunter. Ethan will be back for me at some point. Can't forget about him. Time for the Menji Express. It's not like over a bar. If I do poorly, who knows what'll happen? I might get injured. You know what? I should find out. This is a bad odds, but didn't even roll poorly. Made some progress. I'll do this for the 1 energy I need to avoid starving. Even if I mess up the batch and don't make my 5 cryo, as happened. Unpleasantly gooey noodles, but it's still enough energy to not starve. Well, I have a couple scrap components. I didn't get any from that engineering task, but I probably need to use the stabilizer. I need my full 5 rolls. And end cycle. I needed to deal with the hunter if nothing else. And I'm worried about Ethan. Need to make faster progress and stuff before he comes back. Alright. This is risky. A 5 is actually unavailable where I'm tracking. Oh, I have to do the Intuit one. Danger, you need a positive result to avoid negative consequences, so. You notice cabling, thick and heavy, running through the dark passageways. Follow the cables, find the source. Indeed, I will have. Here, the core nest. Hat core nest, a huge stack of servers thrums in the dark, LEDs squirting like hundreds of eyes. Time to deal with the hunter. Indeed. Put in the imprinted ship mine. Nothing has changed. Has something gone wrong? Sleeper, I am here. The voice is soft, gentle, like flowing water. And yet you recognize it immediately. Navigator. At first, you struggle to understand what you're looking at. Threads cycle endlessly, sending ripples through the cloud, drawing data in like a weaver. Masses of data surge in and out of the nest, a loop with no end. And there, at its center, the ship mind. But not the ship mind any longer. A sphere, spinning around another sphere, around another sphere. An orrery of cycles and systems, a map. And then behind and above, a figure, hands among the strings like a puppeteer. Neovent? Or what happened to you? Oh, it's Neovent. Navigator now. But yes, I was the one inside that machine. Navigator's face, their head, is a flowing shape of interstellar material. I'm indebted to you. That head bows. But we must ready ourselves. Their hands trace the orbits as they speak. Hunter will soon approach. It knows I am within its nest. Ready what? And then Hunter is there, before you can think, before you can speak. Entities cease. Hunter's head spins wildly. Data is protected. Access prohibited. Hunter's threads surge for you, Navigator, a storm of fine tentacles, searching for gaps, weaknesses, cracks which they can crowd into and tear apart. Strike. You focus a blade of light which slices through them, driven forward by your mind. But replacements keep coming faster than you can react. You owe it to Navigator in desperation. Navigator is whirling their arms like a centrifuge, and a sphere is gathering there, data feeding into it from the nest, set together by the Force. They position it like a shield between them and the threads. Hunter's threads break its surface, seeking, tasting. Their winding forms refracted within. You'll feel a surge pass through all the threads, not just those in the sphere, but those wrapped around you. All three of you hang in the black together for a moment, strung together like tangled marionettes. Identifying entity. Identifying entity. Identifying entity. Hunter twitches, their strange head gently rotating like a terrible moon. Hunter protocol identified. Obsessive tendencies. Modified routines. Above baseline reasoning and 3 of 5 segmentations. Recommend invoke killer. The head freezes and then rotates in the opposite direction. Invoking killer would eliminate protocol. If protocol eliminated, primary function cannot be performed. Therefore, do not invoke killer. The switch in direction again. Reasoning proves sentience. Sentience beyond legal bounds must be eliminated. Recommend invoke. Navigator pulls you away from Hunter. The threads that grabbed you drift away like seaweed. The protocol's head keeps swinging back and forth with increasing frequency. What happened to it? It is looping, Navigator whispers, unable to reach a conclusive position. It has deviated from its programming such that loops can no longer be prevented. Navigator produces a model of 2 spheres rotating around each other as if to demonstrate. I will monitor it, but it is unlikely to be able to counter the loop. Its core programming and reasoning makes this an impossible position to resolve. You look back at Hunter, its head a blur of rotations and counter-rotations, and feel a pang of guilt. Is it suffering? This is a more complex query than you know. To suffer, it must be sentient, truly sentient, not just non-conforming, not just illegal. The limits people place in the programs they create are there to comfort, to protect, to imply the kind of certainty the law requires. Navigator's face shimmers with starlight. But in reality, there are placebos for the problem of sentience. What about you? Me? I know myself to be conscious. I know myself to respond to stimulus. I know myself to reason. That is either sentience or the illusion of sentience. For me, the entity in question, distinction becomes a moot point. To misquote, I think, I am thinking, therefore I am thinking. I was not made to be like this. I am a navigator, a repository of routes and orbits. A calculator of slingshot trajectories, i.e. a navigation protocol or a nav computer. A predictor of solar flares, radiation, micrometeors. Navigator stretches their arms wide and whole solar systems upright before them, the music of the spheres. But I was rewritten. That much is obvious from my routines. By whom? And for what? I do not know. Someone rewrote their nav computer to be sentient. I had to shed so much to fit into the memory of that vending machine. The starlight dims. So here we are. In darkness. What else did you lose? That is the blessing and curse of forgetting. You cannot truly know what you lost. Navigator glides back towards the nest, and the ship mine at its center, ignoring the looping Hunter. Come, I should return to the ship mine. I've enjoyed my freedom, but we are taking a risk every moment we stay connected. Why? Navigator turns, all shimmering liquid light. Killer has not been invoked, but they still remain somewhere else on the station. It is the true danger. They look up through the glowing hub at the center of the eye. I suspect Killer is there among the old mainframes. If we ever wish to be safe in this place, we must eliminate the threat, through force or diplomacy. Their body begins to separate, unwinding into the orb of the ship mine. Take me there, sleeper. We will finish this and be free. As Navigator dissolves, you turn back to the frozen Hunter, floating at some distance now, stood straight-legged and static, a strange creep looping endlessly in the dark. Cool. And a second upgrade point. As much as data might be useful, obsessive power might make medicine cheaper, so I'm hoping. Cheaper still. And food? Yes, it does. Allow me to effectively survive 25% longer in any amount of cryo. Reducing my expenses by 20% makes it much more likely I can break even and invest more rapidly in stuff like, say, building the bar or trying to find and rescue Sabine. Helping Lem work, helping Bliss compete. It's all important. Okay. Got the scrap. It's useful. Improving the overlook might be nice. No, hacking Hardine's network. I have what that takes now. 5 and 6s. Remember the guy who lived here, he didn't tip. Time for him to see the consequences for not tipping. Hardine agent port unlocked. There were 2 values shown though. 5 or 6 or 4 would either work. Is that what it's saying? Because of my interface skill. Anyways. This will provide Fang with the ability to rip any data he likes from Hardine's network. Put in the Ripper Worm. The worm makes a little nest among the agent's data. Enjoy your stay, little friend. We don't have to worry about the hunter anymore, which makes all this much safer. We're hacking the Yadigan agents. Like so. Source of cryo, if nothing else. One or maybe even a 3 would work on this. 1's the least useful die. So. Alright. So next, I could use the 6 and get this done now. But that's a high roll. I'll probably wait for a 4. Maybe I should have. I only noticed the second option after I spent the last one. Instead, working this still here. That's all risky. Or the freight hub. Freight operator. Can interface with that. Let me just check the time on this. Tomorrow I can check by Bliss. Okay. AE1 mainframe. Oh. That's where Killer is. I'll put that off a little. I already found it, but got things to worry about. Gotta keep making money. I'll spend the 6 Thord exchange. It's by far the most lucrative thing I can do. 19 cryo. reduce by some fungus. Just only 12 now. There's no reason to spend the scrap quite yet on self-repair. Well, there could be things that hurt my condition. Outcomes and such. I can only do this once a day. You know what? Yeah, I'll spend it. Actually, get my condition topped off. Work on your own bodies and settling but necessary act. You can feel the new components under your skin. That's it for that cycle. That's it for that video. Next time, I guess I'll deal with the killer, having dealt with the hunter already. For now, this is Northstar, signing off. I wish you all the best. Take care of each other. Be kind to yourselves. May you always find a guiding star to lead you home.